So we have this meditation called the Blessing of the Energy Centers meditation, and in our advanced community, it has become the most popular meditation amongst our student body. And I have worked for years to teach people how to intentionally change their brain waves, to move from beta brain waves beyond their analytical mind to alpha and theta. And we've done extensive measurements to know that people can actually do this, and it's a skill. And our research shows that people are able to do that in a very short amount of time, like in 4 seconds or 5 seconds or 9 seconds or 12 seconds. And once they begin to change their brain waves, consciousness moves out of the thinking neocortex. They begin to suppress brainwave activity in their thinking brain, and all of a sudden they're disconnecting from their body, their environment, and time. And when they do this properly, we see an extensive change in the autonomic nervous system. That the autonomic nervous system now, the limbic brain underneath the neocortex, about the size of an apricot, now is very, very active. And now, in a way, they're conscious in their subconscious mind. They're in the autonomic nervous system, and autonomic meaning automatic, where all of the biological processes take place that have to do with digestion, that have to do with hormone secretion, enzyme secretion, blood sugar levels, immune regulation, body temperature. It's all happening in this autonomic nervous system. So now they're conscious, in a sense, in their subconscious mind. By the same means, I have worked with students to help them understand two different types of focus. What's called a convergent focus. That's when you narrow your focus on something material. And a divergent focus is when you broaden your focus and you open your focus and you begin to focus on nothing material, just space. And our research shows that when you begin to open your awareness and open your focus and focus on nothing, that there's substantial changes in the brain as how it integrates, how it becomes more orderly, how it synchronizes, how it begins to express more rhythm and more holism. And so when we teach the Blessing of the Energy Centers, our intention is to be able to program the autonomic nervous system back into homeostasis and balance. Now, homeostatic imbalance is called stress, and 70% of the time people live in that state. So helping them to move back into homeostasis means the body starts using energy for growth and repair. It starts using energy for healing. And so we have these 7 energy centers of the body. I call them energy centers. And each one of these centers has their own energy, their own frequency. They carry their own message, their own intent. They have their own consciousness. They have their own glands, their own hormones, their own chemical expression, and even their own individual little brains. And when we're under stress and this big brain is incoherent, and stress creates incoherence in the brain, what happens over time is that the signal neurologically begins to create incoherence in each one of these little brains that are reflected as energy centers. So by resting your attention in each one of these centers, creating what's called a convergent focus, and becoming aware of the space around each one of these centers, convergent focus, divergent focus, particle, wave, matter, energy, reality is both, that as people begin to open their awareness while they're resting their attention in each one of these centers, and they start tuning into the energy of these centers, it starts creating more coherence in each one of these little brains, just like it does in this big brain. And what happens is there's all of a sudden a neurological change in order in each one of these little brains, which sends a very coherent message to all the cells and tissues and organs in different parts of the body. And as they climb up these energy centers and begin to regulate balance and homeostasis in each one of those, the side effect has to do with significant change in the person's health, whether it's rectal cancer, whether it's impotence, whether it's prostatic problems, whether it's diverticulitis or uterine conditions or ovarian conditions, liver enzymes out of balance, digestive problems, food allergies, heart palpitations, arrhythmias, thyroid problems, brain tumors. We've just seen all kinds of health conditions change when people learn how to change their brain waves, it's important to understand you can't do it in beta because you're separate from the autonomic nervous system, so they have to learn how to self-regulate and change their brain waves. And they have to practice this convergent and divergent focus. And in time, we do many, many different variations of the blessing of the energy centers, and we've seen people have dramatic changes in their health and in their life.